flipping basketball cards, do you have a strategy? Are you trying to figure out what is your basketball card strategy? And at the top of the show, I wanted to ask Gary a question. Before we get into LW buy and sell, Gary, tell us about your 4Gs, because as the audience sort of ponders their basketball card strategy and Chad and Lefty sort of ponder theirs, tell us about your 4Gs, because I think this is an interesting strategy that you talk about a lot in your content at Hoops and Cards.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's great to be with you, Paul and Lefty and Chad, guys. Also great to be talking basketball. That's what we do almost all the time at Hoops and Cards, of course. And the 4G strategy. So, all right, there's unlimited players out there to look at or to hear about. There's unlimited card products coming out every year. It's just crazy. And so I had to, over the last couple of years, think through, okay, if I'm going to be strategic or if we're going to be intentional about what cards we're buying and why, often it is tied to the player, to Wemby or to Zion or Ja or whoever the big name is. And or historically, look at Jordan, Kobe, and the rise of the vintage market at times. So we've come up with 4Gs, and it's guess, good, great, and GOAT. And that can be used to classify players, GOATs like Jordan and LeBron, greats like Dirk Nowitzki, guys that have had like many all-star appearances. Their card markets may be strong at times. Nobody doubts they're a great player. Good players could be guys that maybe they've made one all-star game. We're talking about right now, good players. I'm looking at Jalen Brunson and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and hi, oh my shoes. I'm seeing the comments down there. Good players are people that you probably know their names. They've made an all-star game. Their cards are at least on the radar when it comes to the sports card market. And then guesses would be, the new up and coming rated rookies of players that maybe just a few of us know because we follow basketball and we know what the teams have planned for them or what their potential is. This would be the Cam Thomas thing, Paul, from the spring. When he gets some playing time, he just explodes. And so there's this potential of Bowman-like prospecting when it comes to the basketball card market. So 4Gs would be guess, good, great, and GOAT. And a good, if you want to diversify, that's fine. Have a little bit in each level. We can debate which players are good and great and which players might eventually be a GOAT. I think that's the big craze around guys like Luka and, trying to project out the course of 15-year career. Is that guy going to be the GOAT? Are they going to win chips? What kind of player are we buying and holding for long-term, or are we buying and flipping because there's hype and anticipation of what a Giannis or a Tatum can do? So guess, good, great, GOAT. Lately, I've been focusing mostly on the guesses or the GOATs, the players that I know about as a basketball fan and a basketball geek, really follow in the card market. And then also the GOATs, because they'll always have some value. They'll always have the biggest market after them on eBay or wherever else. So that's the 4Gs. I'm sure it'll work in other sports, but love any feedback, because it's kind of a fluid, basically a language around why I'm buying what I'm buying.
I think it's outstanding. And Lefty, I want to pass it over to you, man, because when you and I first started doing this show together, you and I kind of came up with something similar. You talked about it, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but I know you kind of have 3 levels when you think about how to break down your sports card investment portfolio. Talk about that, and then Gary's 4Gs. What do you think, man?
Yeah, the way that we've broken it down here at No Off Season has been Flyers, which I guess would be considered your guesses, stars, and then GOATs. So not as pleasing on the alliteration side, but same kind of idea where you want to build your portfolio similar to that of a stock portfolio, where you have some high risk and some high reward, and you also have some cards that are going to hold value long term, go up with the S&P 500 and stuff. When we're talking about investing in sports cards, we can't forget the fact that investing has been around for a long time in other assets. And so I think it's criminal of us to assume that that's not part of our strategy. And we've got to be tuned into some of the other strategies of how to hold and make money and profit over the long period of time. And so, Gary, I think that's really good.
Chad, you're cranking out content for nooffseason.com, man. You're looking at all of it. You're looking at the guesses, the good, the greats, and the goats at all times. You're keeping Connor, Sonia, and I busy posting those articles. I don't want to steal your thunder, man, because I know you got some good stuff coming up in all of our segments. So, but when you think about your basketball card strategy, you've been doing this far longer than I have, flipping to fund your PC. What do you see NBA wise with the opportunity cycles of basketball? How does it differ from the other sports?
Well, it is different, and I do have a strategy for each sport. My strategy on basketball isn't that far off. I guess you could probably overlay Gary's into what I do. I have a rule of 15 for basketball. Okay, I have 5 layers of 3 players. I look for the top 3 players of rookie class. Then I look for the 3 sophomore sensations. Then I look for the 3 third-year players that are going to be looking for that contract and who's going to break out of that third-year player. I look for 3 goats to kind of balance the portfolio to eliminate the risk, and then I go for 3 flyers or guesses, and those could be from any one of the 4 categories. But I focus on 15 players. And then my goal is that the money that I make from those 15 flips going into the NBA season, I pool that money together and I hold it for mid-December. And in mid-December, I go on an absolute buying spree for my PC because that's when stuff is cheapest. So in December, I'm buying the cards that I'm going to put in my safe with the profits from my 15 plays.
That